Alrighty, quick live stream here to chip, uh, just because we can, I guess, given the time difference. I think there's 2 rounds left, so we just finished round 7, going into round 8 and 9, and this is pretty much the crucial part of the day, because a lot of the people will aim for day 2. Currently, as we speak, is day 1, which is a Friday in Hawaii at the moment, as probably the casters are explaining what's going to happen right now. But people who are maybe potentially sitting on 15 points, 12 points, are a little bit nervous. I believe you might need to get 18 or 19 points to make it to day 2. And how it all works is that each win, you get 3 points. If you tie, you get 1 point, and if you obviously lose the match, you get 0 points. So, and I believe you need 19 points or 18 points, depending on what the bubble is. Bubble meaning that you could still get the points to make it. So because they might have rules say it's the top X amount of players, and you might still get the points, but you might bubble out, so to speak, because they only allow X amount of players to make it into day 2. I have watched a couple of matches. It seems uh, pretty consistent in terms of what the meta decks are. I think most of the decks revolve around Regidrago, Charizard, and then I think Calvin Corner here is playing Gardevoir, which is surprisingly, I think might be the deck to win it all, but I think he might have lost this game just because Iron Hand set up pretty quickly here. Hi, David. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. So we are purely streaming this from a competitive standpoint. I've been involved in the competitive scene. Unfortunately, haven't been able to attend any World Championship in my lifetime. So I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be able to tell you guys what it feels like to compete at a World Championship. But I have competed in some an IC, competed in big regionals, smaller regionals as well. So hopefully give you guys a bit of an insight as to what's happening uh, throughout the tournament. So we just ended round 7. I believe Jesse Parker here just took the match 0-0. So it is a set of 3 uh, when you play against each other. Best of 3, sorry, and obviously you need to win 2 games in order to win. And then if the situation is 1-1, you tie, and then 1-1, and then the time runs out, you tie. So they are just interviewing Jesse right now, going into 7-0, which gives him 3 sevens, 21, I think. Yeah, so 21 points. He's definitely going into day 2, so you can see he's pretty happy with this, and I would be too. Going into a day 2 event at World Championship is no joke, and from this point onwards, Jesse will try to win as many games. Even with 2 games left, he has qualified for day 2. I think he wants to get himself in the best position for day 2. So I don't imagine he would be dropping games or tying games as well. So I'm not sure you can see here, Jesse remain undefeated through round 7. I'm not sure if how many players are undefeated through round 7. I quickly had a look at the some of the results as well. I don't think there are many ties as well. I think the strategy for a lot of people is the importance of taking game 1, and then playing it out, because when you hold prime position for game 1, given the time limit, there are more likelihood and chances that you will win. You will win the set if time runs out. So, as they are interviewing at the moment, I don't think round 8 is probably going to start for another maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So I believe they've actually finished relatively early. Again, the hands was seemed to have set up pretty quickly. to take out the roles. So basically, Jesse Parker is playing a Miraidon. I don't know. I haven't seen the deck list. I didn't see the match properly. So I believe he's playing a Miraidon uh, deck, which mainly plays electric Pokemon, one of which is a Broken Hand, Iron Hand EX, and it has an ability. One of the attack, if you can get it off, is to take one extra prize card when you knock out your opponent's Pokemon. So instead of taking one prize card when you're knocking out a one prizer, you take two prize card when you knock out a one prizer. So I think from the second game that we just had snippets of it, it seems like he was able to do that pretty quickly, even in the second game. And part of it is they have a trainer card called the Electric Generator. I believe you look at five or seven of your top cards, and then any electric, any electric energy, right? Any electric energy you can attach it to your bench electric Pokemon, which obviously help him to set up pretty quickly on those Iron Hands to get those wins. Like I said, I think we are going to be around 10, 15, maybe 10 minutes away. I haven't checked the schedule as well. Maybe 10, 15 minutes away from round 8. Like I said, this is where it gets really, really intense. Usually, the first few rounds, you would like to get a win straight away, get your confidence up, and then the middle part is probably the grind, and then right until now, sort of round 7 and 8, 9 is where you, I guess, understand your chances of making day two, and in order to progress through the tournament, you need to be in day two, right? So, and some people are it gets a little bit more nerve breaking if you are on that borderline. So if you are sort of sitting at 12 points, 15 points after round 7, 12 points, uh, you might still have a chance. You might not. 13 points. Maybe 13 points. You need to win the next two, so you need to win round 8 and round 9. Now, I'm actually assuming it's 9 rounds as well. So apologies if I am saying the wrong information, because this is how the last year's Worlds ran. So 9 rounds, and then you make it into day two. So I believe this is probably going to be the same. Again, I haven't checked. Again, it's apology in advance if I made a mistake on those details. And yeah, so if you're sitting at 12 points, very slim chance. I would say maybe 3-5% chance, depending on how everyone has performed. If you're sitting 13 points, you probably need to win the next 2 rounds. If you are sitting in 15 points, you will need to win one of the 2 rounds, and which brings you no, actually, yeah, you need to win one of the 2 rounds, and then maybe tie one of the rounds to give yourself 19 points. So I believe that's what's going to happen at the moment. While they are taking a break, um, we are also going to take a break very soon. I literally just came back, and then I decided that we would want to do a stream shortly from Italy. Thanks for streaming, mate. No worries. Just wanted to have a bit of a stream party because I'm gonna be watching this anyway. So I thought it'll be good to watch it sort of together and give my thoughts, my amateur limited knowledge of as a competitive player. Hope to bring you guys in a uh, bit of a vaccine as to what's happened and how do these people prepared, and what their thought and strategy, and if I were them, what would I do as well, so forth and so on. So you can actually see the caster's background as well. This is where that's obviously the main stage, and doesn't seems like a lot of people are sitting on the main stage. Again, this is day one, and that's probably why. I remember last year at Yokohama. But even day one was pretty full, and obviously day two and then day three, where all the finals are, was pretty packed. Just an amazing atmosphere to be at the World Championship, and I think by the end So on Sunday, so whichever time zone you are, but on Sunday in Hawaii, as they finish all the matches, they will have a closing ceremony, and the closing ceremony will announce a few things. First of all, updates that are coming. I think the CEO of Pokemon will come up and actually tells everyone what are the updates coming from for the Pokemon Unite game, Pokemon Go, VGC, and then obviously trading card, and then they will announce where the next Pokemon World Championship will be. My bets are likely to be returning to Asia, um, and you kind of have to include Japan, I think, as a destination, and then potentially China, potentially Korea. The other alternative I would think is having it in Europe. So going back to maybe London, maybe in Spain, is another possibility. Maybe in Italy, another possibility as well. Spain might be a big one. So we'll see in a few days' time where they're going to be announcing where the next next Pokemon World Championship. I actually think there is a big chance that they'll have it in Spain. Actually, now to come to think about it, if you think about Scarlet and Violet, kind of based off on the Spanish Portuguese sort of region, that sort of history and the mix as well. So potentially it would be basing off there, given the Scarlet and Violet era. But who knows? Who knows? So again, the reasoning is, if you look at Sword and Shield, based off of sort of the British, English, United Kingdom, and then they obviously had the World Championship there, and then Yokohama, Honolulu, and then potentially Spain would be. Uh, if I had three guess, if I have to choose three countries, it will be Spain. It would be oops. You would be. I'm just trying to move the camera a bit actually. So it will be Spain. Yeah, it will be Spain, Japan, and I'm not gonna say China. I'm actually gonna say South Korea. And the reason being, I think it's harder for a lot of people to get into China given the visa thing, although a lot of people need to get visa to go to US as well. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a major problem. I think there's more people that need to get visas to go to China. So yeah, potentially. But I'm going to stick with South Korea. I'm going to absolutely love it if they're going to have it in South Korea um, for the next World Championship. Now, so I guess right now the casts um, are still going on. Now these two casters here, they both own YouTube channel themselves, and actually really interesting content creator as well, as we see uh, Ian Rob posting very interesting photo here. Well, 12 years ago, last time it was in Hawaii, it was one game short of winning the whole thing. Very interesting picture there by Ian. I have the privilege to actually being coached by Ian in preparation for the last 2 years. Um, so that's why I thought this picture is quite funny and interesting, and knowing Ian as well. And I will actually check how he was going in terms of the tournament. So maybe I'll give it a check to see how he is. And Ian, to my knowledge, a pretty consistent um, competitor. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, the reason why you are seeing a lot of these photos, because they did have um, the Pokemon World Championship in Hawaii, as you can see, 2012 years ago. So we're at 2012, according to Ian's post there. So yeah, so that's why a lot of people are reminiscing the times the before, as you can see in this picture, how long the World Championship had been going for. I mean, competitive Pokemon gameplay in terms of TCG happened a very long time ago. It actually happened when Pokemon cards first started, and that's where the one of the most expensive, or if not the most expensive cards in the Pokemon, the illustrated Pikachu come from is from I believe it was a invite only tournament that happened in Hawaii, actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so my memory is a little bit hazy here, so we might do a bit of a background check, but yeah, that's where that come from, and that's how it all got gets unfold. It's the video game continue to blossom and the TCG continue to blossom. And then with the inclusion of Pokemon Go in 2016 and now Pokemon Unite a couple of years ago, they're really expanding into multiple territories, regions, countries. Unfortunately, Pokemon Sleep is not in the in the World Championship. Otherwise, we might have a pretty good chance. Now, the fact that they are showing a lot more photos. I do think that they are probably still waiting to see which game to put on. Like I said, this is the crucial part of the day. Game round 8, crunch time. A lot of people are missing those 3 points or 1 point to make it into day 2, and that's why you're going to see really good games coming up in sort of round 8 and round 9, hopefully from there on. Now, personally, one of the decks that I predicted will do really well was Gardevoir EX. Uh, but what obviously it wasn't the case in the last matchup. A lot of people are playing Regidrago. A lot of people are playing Raging Bolt plus the Teal Mask. Given their sort of energy acceleration, I think that's why a lot of people are opted to play those deck and maybe a little bit more in terms of consistency, in terms of the ability to continue to draw cards as well. And we've seen a few Charizard here. Charizard has been a pretty meta favorite deck for pretty much before Twilight Masquerade came out, and taken a bit of a back seat just because it is weak to a Terra type Charizard, even though a lot of people know it's a Fire type. Terra type Charizard is Dark type and is weak to grass. And then the TMS, one of the TMS Ogerpon can pretty much knock it out with 6 energy, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why you've seen a bit of a decline in Charizard. The other one is which I will be interested to know. Which I mean, they will show it if I rewind it back. The list of decks that people are playing. The other one I'll be interested in to see is how many people are actually playing Lost Box. Lost Box meaning the comfy, the stabilizer, Cramorant, which requires a mechanic where you put cards in the lost zone, but you do have ability to draw cards, and then once you've reached certain numbers of cards in the lost zone, your attack will be, I guess, more powerful or more efficient as it goes along, because you unlock some of the item cards, for example, Mirage Gate as well, where you can pretty much for energy acceleration. So I'll be interested to see. Predominantly, I think it would be Lost Box, Lost Box, Giratina would probably be the most play list, I think, at the World Champ. My personal favorite is the Sable side, Lost Box. I don't think it will be included that much just because it doesn't hit hard enough. So it can't really knock out the stage 2. For example, if you're up against the Gardevoir, you EX, you're up against the Charizard EXs, you won't be able, and even the Lugia V Star and the Regijago V Star, you won't be able to knock that out. So it'll be interesting to see that spread as well. Another personal favorite, that something I have been playing, was the Ironthorn EX, which pretty much is a ability lock deck. And I mean, I would say it's pretty favorable against a lot of the decks that have been on stream, because it doesn't allow if your Pokemon have a rule box, which is all the kind of the EX and the Radiant Pokemon, if they have a rule box, it cancels it out. They can't use it. So you would think with Regijago, with Teal Pokemon, it blocks the ability. So not a lot that they can do in that retrospect. So again, we might rewind it to have a look to see what the spread is. But now, since they're playing a bit of an ad, so we're still sort of a little bit away. So I'm gonna actually jump off. So next round is in 6 minutes. You can see on the top of the screen, top right hand side of the screen. I'm gonna go for a quick bathroom, quick break, and then we'll come back and hopefully get the start of round 8. All right, see you guys soon. right, we're back. We're back. What's up, trainer Glenn? Hope you're doing well. We are back. Just went to the quick bathroom break. Not sure if it was a TMI, but quick bathroom break. And then as we are going to go into round eight, interesting to see what the matchup are for not round eight. And I did, as while I was taking a bit of a break, I did browse through to see. Uh, Just see just see what the breakdown is for the lists for what I saw. Yeah, so here we go. Deck analysis for day one. I think if I'm reading from there, Raz, hope you're doing well. Yeah, reading it off the screen here, 24.17% are playing Regidrago V-Star, and then around 13% are playing Charizard, and respectively 13% are playing Lugia, and then Gardevoir we've got around 10%, 9.6. Raging Bull, surprisingly, less than I thought, 9.34%. And then my personal favorite is the Iron Thorns, which is 5.5 percent at the moment. There are a total of 1,146 people in the Master Division, Master being anything 18 and over, and other decks that are being played is around 26%. So you could probably say this is quite a big variance compared to last year. I think a majority of people were either playing Gardevoir or Mew V-Star in the last World Champ, but this one here appears to have a bit of a bigger spread than we would uh, predict and imagine, actually. So, once again, we are waiting for the casters to see what the round 8 matchup is. And this is going to be really, well, hopefully, really exciting games here for round 8. Uh, as we should be seeing players that normally how they decide to put players on screen, again, as to my understanding, a couple of things. Number one, what kind of decks you're playing. If you're playing some really interesting decks that is not included to the list that I just said, but are doing really well, they might put you on stream. And the second and is the how important is your match. Or potentially your match might be really important. Either player might need to win that match in order to get into day two, create a bit of excitement, so they want to put you on screen. And then how good or how great you are as a or your popularity as a Pokemon TCG player. Some of the bigger names that we have seen Todd already being on screen here. I think Vance is going on screen here, if I'm not mistaken. So having a look at the list of players with 7 wins, and as you can see here, there are only 4 players with 7 wins, and then multiple players with 6 wins, and I believe one tie, and then multiple players with 6 wins and one loss at the moment. So here are the list of the top 16 players who should, to my understanding, make it into uh, day two, uh, uh, because most likely they are going to be pairing up against each other, and most likely they are going to um, give it a bit of rest, or they will play the game. Give it a rest, meaning that they will have a gentleman agreement that they will just tie this game. Especially for the players who are on 18 points right now, if they tie, they get 1 extra point, which is 19 point, which is a guarantee to day two. So do they want to, if you're both on 18 points, do you risk playing a game where one of you will lose? And only one of you proceed, and then you have to go into round 9 and risking it all, or do you say, hey, let's tie now, we both make it for day two, and then when round 9 comes, if they want to play again, that's fine. If they don't, we'll tie again. Gives us 20 points, and we're definitely into day two. So, but in the normal scenario, it might be like that. Um, again, because um, this is World Championship, so it might be a little bit different. So notable matches right now. So you do see Vance. Vance is the winner of last year's World Championship. You see Todd there at 16 point. You see Azul there. You see Robin, I think, was on stream. So you see Brent Donaldson there, top player from Australia. So and then I think Owen Cameraman also a top player. I think one of the top three players from Europe as well. So that's why they put up these sort of matches here. A lot of these guys are on. I think Azul on 15 points. So Azul is Azul GG is a YouTuber himself, where he mainly focuses on competitive gameplay. So why are these notable matches? So a lot of these guys are sitting on 16 points. So they do require a win here or a win in the next round in order to qualify. So just giving you an idea, Vance Kelly, who is the World Championship from last year using Mu VMAX, he's on 16 points at the moment. If he ties on 17, which then it means he needs to win round 9. If he wins here, uh, 16 plus 3 is 19 points, which guarantees him to make it to day 2. So it seems that Vance is using Regidrago, and then John is using God of War EX, which is a potentially really interesting matchup here. And uh, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so it appears that John is taking a there's no basic Pokemon, so to start off the game, for those who are playing at home, to start off the game, you need to have at least one basic Pokemon on your side, and you need to put it in the active spot. And if you don't have any, you shuffle again, and your opponent actually gets to draw one extra card. And this is what we call a mulligan. So right now is mulligan one, John without a basic Pokemon, so it means fans get to draw one more card before his turn starts. I actually don't know who is going first, but you can see on the screen here, to play 3 games of Pokemon within 50 minutes is actually really hard in the modern gameplay, and I think what Pokemon is trying to do is actually trying to speed up the game a little bit, so it goes a little bit quicker. But it is really hard to play 3 games of Pokemon trading card game within 50 minutes. So first game will probably, especially with Gardevoir, which is a bit of a slow playing deck, there is a potential that this first game here will take close to 25 to 30 minutes, depending on how it starts. But I would say for John, probably not an ideal start as well. As you can see here, these are the prize cards. So in order to win a Pokemon trading card game, you need to start taking prizes. And for the Gardevoir engine to run really well, Gardevoir EX engine to run really well, you need the middle evolution, which is the Curlier, which allows you to draw cards. And John has 2 of them prized. So in order to get those 2 Curliers for John, he has to at least knock out 2 to 4 of Vance's Pokemon in order to get those prizes. So it'll be very interesting to see how this will turn out. Now we will also know from this it is indeed Vance's to go first. If you ever ask me if there's an advantage of going first or second, um, very hard to say in the modern game, because in turn 2 you can straight off get an attack. So depends. Now, interesting start here with the Mew EX and Fluttermane. Now, Fluttermane is a Pokemon which has the uh, ability Midnight Bladdering, which shuts down Pokemon's ability if and when it is at the active spot. So the Mew EX allows you to draw cards, draw up to 3 cards. Sorry, allows you to draw, yeah, up to 3 cards. You say if you have 4 cards in your hand, you can also use this ability, but if you have 1 card in your hand, you can draw 2 cards through using Mew's ability. However, since Fluttermane is in the active, this particular ability has been shut off. Now you see Vance here using a Ultra Ball, which he threw away, I believe, a Dragon Pult and a Super Rod. What he's doing now is actually checking what's in his deck. By doing this, he actually should know and understand what is being priced, or what are the six prize cards. So, and this is how great players formulate a strategy. All right, I don't have these six cards available now. What can I do, and what strategy should I set up given my opponent as well? And you can also see Vance is using a pen, writing a lot there. So you know, me for starters, my memory capacity can only reach so far. So sometimes it's great to write down what you have, what you don't have, to sort of kind of remind yourself um, in sort of that particular capacity there. Now the Flutter main, I believe, only shuts off the active. So that's why the Teal Mass were still able to use the ability to accelerate an energy onto itself, and then we saw the energy switch uh, going on to the Reggie Drago. Now, because it is Van's first turn, and usually in your first turn you can't use a trainer card, which you saw Van's actually got an Iono in his hand, but he cannot use that in his first turn. So now we're going on to John's turn, and he's using Putty Putty Poffin to allow you to find two basic Pokemon up to 70 HP below. And he's going to be in for a shock. And I'll tell you why. The reason being, he's going to find out that two of his Curlier price, which is not necessarily a huge deal, depending on what Van's next turn may be. However, if there's a Curium card which allows you to sort of snipe off three Pokemon. If Vance can make that play in the next turn, might be a bit dangerous. But seeing seeing this, John actually got his second Poffin out, so he's going to find two more Pokemon, and he's definitely going to get the Manaphy out. Manaphy has an ability where it prevent bench damages, so Vance will not be able to use the bench snipe attack. Now, why is a lot of people using this Regidrago V and Regidrago V Star? Now, Regidrago, I believe, came out in the Lugia set, and it wasn't that popular back then, but it has pretty much burst onto the scene given that the Oakapon can accelerate grass energy, and we can use energy switch. And the Regidrago V Star only has one attack, and it allows you to copy whatever dragon Pokemon attack in your discard pile. So that's why he has kind of burst into the scene, because in the old days it seems to be really hard to accelerate energy onto a Regidrago. So a lot of people gave up playing on it. But now the Oak Pawn not only allows you to accelerate energy, but it allows you to draw a card after you accelerate an energy. That's why a lot of people are going in, and rightfully so. 24% of people are using this particular deck on day one. So uh, John right now getting his board ready, attaching the psychic energy into the Flutter main, which is an interesting play. Uh, and he is not, or he was considering the boss order, but which I don't necessarily know there would be a big point there. So I think the turn passed to back to Vance. Now Vance going or using the nest ball here, potentially probably going to find another teal mass as well for drawing ability. I don't see the Greninja, the Greninja, Radiant Greninja, which allows you to discard one energy to draw two cards. So might have been prized if I'm not mistaken. So definitely the Teal Mass Oakapon here Again, now the difference between a nest ball and an ultra ball here. A nest ball, when you use it, you need to put that Pokemon onto your bench, whereas the ultra ball, you discard two cards and then that Pokemon goes onto your goes to your hand. Now, this is not a great hand, so Vance will have to use Iono here, where he put two of the cards into the bottom of his deck, and then he draws the amount of prize card he has, which is 6. And again, I would say he'll be able to make some moves here. So I guess it will more be depending on um, what he throws out here. So you definitely want to get energies on hand. So he will probably want to get True Grass Energy here to put him on the Ogre Pawn and draw some cards. The and this is great because just now he had two energy switches, and which he put in the bottom of the deck using the vessels, which you need to discard one card to draw to get two energy out. He shuffled his deck, so the possibility of those two energy switches in the bottom is obviously no longer because he has shuffled his deck. Now, wow, what a draw here because he got the Regidrago V-Star. Now, he evolved it. Now, earlier on, Vance actually played something called the Canceling Cologne, which cancelled the ability of your opponent, uh, which means that Vance can now actually use the Regidrago ability, and that is to discard top 7 cards of your deck, and then you'll be able to put two cards in any two cards in your discard pile into your hand. Now he opted not to use it though, um, which is I guess saving it for the later. I wouldn't say interesting because as players you at the moment just giving it is one prizer. So he opted not to use it just to save it for a little bit later on. I guess the danger is that he only has a one Reggie Drago V-Star, one attacker on the field at the moment. So ideally, he wants to set up another Reggie Drago, I would say. Ideally, you want to set up another Reggie Drago. Uh, so anyway, he uses the Dragon Ball attack, which you attack the active Pokemon for 200, and then you're allowed to put, I think, 60 damages counter any way you like. So as you can see here, or as you saw here, Vance put 20 on each of the 20 on two rolls, and then 10 on one of the rolls, and the Manaphy there. So he will be looking to set up, probably use Dragon Pulse attack once again to try to get rid of either the Manaphy um, or the or some of the rocks here. Now the difficult thing with John at the moment is that again he only had two Curliers and he really needs to get those Curliers out. So now it's a bit of a slow start. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of a slow start for John here because now he's using his as you can see. No, I'm blocking it. A technical machine evolution here, where he is evolving two of his rolls into Curlier, which now ideally what Vance would want to do. A couple of things. The big play here for Vance. I'm actually not sure if Vance plays a Curium, but the big play here is that using the Curium to knock out 3 of the Pokemon. But I don't know. I actually don't know. Again, I don't have no access to their list, of course. So I don't know if Vance plays as a Curium or not. But we can see here, Van's actually going for a safer play here and actually putting another Regidrago into the bench. Um, so Vance has 2 cards left, and actually 2 of them are the same cards here. He's probably wondering whether he wants to use them or not. I actually see no reason why he wouldn't want to use this. So Vance at the moment is just contemplating, I guess, whether he wants to attack now, whether he wants to. No, he. Okay, so right there, Vance didn't even bother using any of his trainer cards there, and I believe he just went for the double knockout. Um, so now, which is really putting John in a bit of a backseat here because he is going to lose two more Pokemons here if he doesn't take out at least one of Van's Pokemon on the field here. Because the Dragapult at the moment is really causing a bit of a havoc at the moment. So having a look, so John is using a vessel which he's getting out a psychic and dark energy, and you might be wondering why the John has a dark energy in his deck. So the Muki Dori there, if it has a dark energy attached to it, it allows it to move damage counters. Now, considering Gardevoir is a deck where, in order to accelerate energy, it requires to put damage counters on your Pokemon. So, the Muki Dori is actually a very, very good dancing partner, I would say, with Gardevoir here. And straight away as well, um, John can actually move some of the damages on Curlier onto Vance's Pokemon, which in next turn, Vance actually cannot snipe that Curlier because the damage counter will be gone. Instead, might have to snipe the Manaphy instead. In terms of where the matches are at the moment, I wouldn't say it's far from over, but Vance having a bit of a prize card advantage at the moment. It'll be very interesting. Now we just saw John benching another Rolls. Now I believe I believe I believe Vance plays Hawlucha. Hawlucha, another bit of a tech card as a Pokemon card here. When it goes on your bench, it puts 10 damage counter on two of your opponent's Pokemon. So and then if you for the Pokemon that have 70 HP, it obviously brings it down to 60, and then you can once again use your Dragapult attack from there. All right. So interesting play here using Mukidori Mind Bend attack, doing 60 damage, and the opponent's Pokemon is now confused. Now, what happens when your Pokemon is confused in the Pokemon trading card games? When you announce an attack, you have to flip a coin, and if it lands on heads, your attack goes through. If it lands on tail, you do 30 damages on your own Pokemon. So that's pretty much all John can do at the moment is to see if he can drag this match a little bit further out, so he would remain have a chance. Because in order for Vance to get this Pokemon out, he needs some switch cards. He can retreat, my understanding correctly, but he has to pretty much throw away all his energy on that Regidrago, which he doesn't kind of want, to tell you the honest truth. So that's why it is does put not necessarily a tough spot. I do think Vance probably have a way around this that he's trying to get this out. And of course, if if he does actually have a switch in the discard pile, he can use the V Star to get that as well. So he just manually attached. He is going into probably search his deck again to see what he has available. Even though he might not actually have a Pokemon that he wants to put on the bench, the fact that you have a bench space, you should be able to use that card. Now, interestingly enough, he put the Venzentivity EX onto the bench. Now, the bench is now actually full on on Ben's side, which he kind of cannot use the Kind of cannot use the Halucha, but the 7 card that came away was absolutely amazing there, because we are going to see a 3 price card play here for uh, for Vance. So now he's going a few steps ahead here. He's going for a few steps here. So I'm assuming he threw away his Curium. Now, this is where you get messy, because Vance is obviously rushing a little bit here, try to move on to the next match here. So when you are playing at a pretty big tournament, you do need to get yourself. You need to show the moves, right? You need to really show the moves. So this is where Vance want to take his time. I think he thought he must have thought that he has the Curium, right? This is where it gets a little bit confusing. He thought he has the Curium. So interesting to see what's happening here, because I actually didn't think that he had a Curium. So I might be wrong. Right now, things are taking it a little bit slower now. Okay, so let's see if Vance actually had the Curium in his discard, which I believe he didn't. Right, he's taken that one out, and then he's put 30 and 50 onto. Okay, all right. So now I think interesting to see what that kind of sequence just happened right now, because I genuinely thought Vance thought, or genuinely think that Vance thought he had the Curium in his discard pile, which he didn't. If that was the case, he would have been able to use his canceling cologne and then take 3 prizes in that instant. However, this is not the case. Okay, so this is a big tech cut here, uh, neutralizing zone, and the reason is neutralizing zone. I can't read the text here. Prevent all damages from your opponent's Pokemon if they are EX or V. So right now, Vance's bench is full, and they are all EX and V Pokemon, right? So I don't know if Vans have a card to counter this stadium. He didn't need to play the stadium, to tell the honest truth. So now there's the Curium. Okay, all right. So definitely a bit of a misplay. I would say just getting ahead of himself there. Even though, again, I'm a third party looking in. I shouldn't. I mean, I'm just calling it as I see it. Well, what do I know better? Vance is the world champion from last year, but I did see that he again. Why does this happen, right? The reason being, these guys only get 50 minutes for the game, right? These guys only get 50 minutes for the game, so that's why Vance is really rushing it and try to finish the first set off to give himself a bit of an advantage. Now, the biggest problem here is that I, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Vance have a counter for that, but yeah, interesting enough. Vance had to, so Vance basically had to boss order the Gardevoir EX here, put the damage counter on the rolls and take one more prize card. Now, you would say He's in a pretty good spot at the moment because Vance only has one prize card left. Even though if John promotes the Mukidori up to the front and do 60 again, um, I believe Vance has the as the counter catcher on sorry, the prime catcher, which is an ace specs card which allows you to swap. So you can see John had realized that he probably doesn't have a match to win this, and that's why he conceded in the first game. Now I think Vance is probably explaining that he thought he has the Curium in the discard pile, and that's why he thought he was going to be able to use that attack. Now, interestingly enough, Vance only had the Dragon Pole in his discard pile. I think I didn't think he has other Dragon Pokemon. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. So it was interesting the ruling of the judging on that. Again, I'm not a judge, um, but yeah, interesting to see what was the judging because he announced it an attack, I guess, that didn't exist it. So should it have worked? Should it have just gone through? I don't know. I'm not a judge, so I am going to remain silent on here. So Bears have taken the first game and in a very, very comfortable spot here. Um, they don't show the clock on these anymore. They used to show the clock. So this screen that we're kind of looking at the moment is pretty advanced. Has been evolved since a lot of the World Championship that have passed. One thing they didn't show is the clock. So they didn't show the clock here. So I don't know how much time is remaining. Again, 15 minutes for a best of three match. I'm probably right in saying that match went for 25 to 30 minutes. And we are now beginning game number two. Now, what happens here? John obviously needs to take this game in order to tie, uh, or in order to have a chance to go into game three, right? But tying for both players actually is not good for both players at this stage because they both need a win in order to get into day two. Uh, so for John, at a bit of a back foot at the moment with one game down, and then again not having a basic Pokemon, again, definitely on a bit of a back foot as we speak. So in his position, his deck is not designed to finish off opponent really quickly. So now that he didn't win game one, he probably had two train of thoughts. Either try to tie this, give myself a point, or um, wish my opponent bricks their turns, or uh, try to finish this quickly, and then hope for the best in the next round because John is really in um, a tough situation here. And again, the reason why I say this, I played the God of War deck at a tournament. I played it at the Brisbane regional. It's not a fun deck when it doesn't work for you. Number one, and number two, it is very slow. So from my conversation with my coach, with Ian, he kind of said, if you're playing God of War, you better damn win the first game because if you don't, you're likely going to draw a lot, you're likely going to tie a lot, or you're not going to win many games. And I mean, John, a much proven player than I am, obviously at 5-1-1, so 5 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie at the moment. So very different. Now, what's interestingly enough, so what happens when you lose the first game? You have the choice whether you want to go first or second. And again, interestingly enough, John has decided that he wants to go second instead of going first. So giving Vance the chance to go first, which, if you ask me, may not necessarily a bad thing. May not just hoping Vance doesn't or cannot get any of his Dragon Reggie Drago on the bench. Hoping that he cannot just try to stall Vance a little bit here by going first. That's I think that might be the potential train of thoughts. Uh, I, on the other hand, normally think that if you're playing a deck where you requires you to evolve, you would try to go first, right? So again, I may not know any better. Anyway, Vans have used the vessel and through the Giratina V Star away here. Again, a very powerful attack that lost impact to 80, throwing true energy into the discard, sorry, into the lost zone. But 280 in this same format hits like a truck. So that's why it's a good card to have. Now, Vance uh, kind of did say that he only wanted to grab the fire, but then he ended up grabbing the fire and the grass energy. Anyway, so interesting. Now the clock did appear. I'm not sure you guys saw the clock. We have 22 minutes, around 22 minutes left in this particular game. So we were pretty bang on saying that the first game kind of went for 25 to 30 minute, which you uh, only really have this amount of time for John to really try to tie this game up. That's I would say that's the kind of the best that he could do. Again, unless Vance on the other side really brick um, brick his draws and whatnot. So we're seeing an Arvin here most likely going to go for the Poffin. Maybe I don't know if they play Escape Bot here, but definitely we'll be going for the Poffin. For John, trying to get some rolts on the bench. And silly me, he's going to definitely have the TM Revolution here to evolve his rolts into Curlier quite quickly as well. Now, the only thing is that um, Vance hasn't discarded the Curium, but from John's point of view, he knows that he needs to put the Manaphy on the bench, just because the Curium can be a bit of a threat, a bit of a double-edged sword as well, because it does require you to throw away some energies in order to attack as well. But if you are Vance and if you can pull off this particular attack on your second turn, it could potentially be a bit of a game over. All right, so exactly what we said, Poffin and TM Revolution has come out. This is where the big choice is coming in, and John has opted to go for the Rolls and Manaphy, which is exactly what he needed to do. It was always going to be hard. Well, when you have the two other rolls in your hands, then I guess it's fine then. Uh, so we see a earthen vessel. The earthen vessel allows you to throw away one card and any card and get two basic energy out, which John has done. So this is a much better start for John in this particular game here. I think actually now that I think of it, he did have a pretty good start as well in the first game. But I think the fact that the two Curlier was prize makes it a little bit harder. But from what we saw from the prizes, none of the Curlier are prize, so it should be a much better experience for John for this game. Now it's really up to how Vance, um, I guess, draws in this particular turn. I believe he got the Vance Antiquity on his top draw there, and then using the Teal Mass ability. I can't really see what card he drew, so I see a energy, I see Iono, I see. Okay, that's where the again I don't know. That is what we want. Okay, we're going for an Iono here, so probably a good play, I would say. If it was me, I might be a little really aggressive and would have gone for the possessor here. I think to be safe, you wanted to throwing out 2 Iono means that you have no card disruption later on in the game. So I think this is what Vance have thought, and that's why he reserved the Iono. Iono will only draw you 6 cards as there's 6 prizes left, whereas the boss will draw you an extra card, 7 cards left. But at this stage, I think Vance will say, I probably want to reserve this Iono later on if I wanted to have an option of the card disruption, and that's why I'm going to go for it. Now, um, Vance actually has an attack. He can attack here, I believe. So he's throwing away the Radiant Charizard, and again, tough choice here. I would think that he would try to throw away the energy, but he threw away energy switch, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He threw away the energy switch. Now, yeah, I really didn't catch what the other. I believe it's an energy switch. So Ultra Ball, away. Uh, I would believe he needs to grab the V Star out, right? So to try to get an attack off, but he doesn't. He doesn't. Does he have a V Star? Does he have a V Star in hand? No, he doesn't, right? So all right, so interesting play here because this is what I'm talking about where I say if Vance is kind of draw into a bit of a break or a bit of a slow start here because basically didn't knock out anything here. Although, you can say that um, he can always use the canceling cologne on the Manaphy and then take out 3 of John's Pokemon. But what John is going to try his best here right now is really targeting down that the lone Regidrago V here. Excuse me, the lone Regidrago V here. So pretty much making Vance have no attacker in the next turn if he can. I think Regidrago is 210 or 220 in terms of HP. I uh, I mean I can't see it yet. Um, Again, Vance is the world champ from last year. He would have much more insights. But the fact that he chose Lucha, uh, getting the Lucha and not the Regidrago V Star, I wasn't sure what's the go there. Now the other thing is that I believe Vance probably didn't want to activate Counter Catcher, meaning that Counter Catcher is an item card where if you have more prizes than your opponent, you can use it, basically. And you can catch any of the bench Pokemon and bring it up to their active. So I think Vance had definitely every position to take out one of John's Pokemon, but the fact that if he did, he would have activated Counter Catcher. He rather not. I think, and that's why he put Halucha out, and Halucha is a 1 pricer, and he put 2 damage counters. So this is where the game gets really, really interesting. I believe there's 15 minutes left. I believe there's 15 minutes left. Um, John Price, true Ultra Ball, and a Heavy Ball. Now, the Ultra Ball is, if I'm guessing, I think John will probably play 2 to 3 Ultra Balls. So the fact that 2 of them are priced could be interesting. Uh, Now, John, just given the Ultra Ball price, he cannot get a. I feel like he cannot get the Gardevoir out. So that's why he's got the Mimikyu out. The ability of the Mimikyu is preventing attack from EX or V Pokemon. So again, none of Vance's Pokemon can hit. Now, Going back to here, what Vance wants to do this turn, I believe, few things. Number one, evolves that Regidrago. Number two, um, put the Curium in the discard pile. Number three, canceling Cologne. And number four, get the Manaphy in the active, use the cancel Cologne, and use Curium's attack to get rid of all of the Curlier. That would be, I think, the play at the moment. But uh, okay, all right. So he did have a research on hand, which is I was wondering why, what happened. So he did have a research on hand, which allows him to draw 7 cards. This 7 cards here is going to be vital, and it is well. He got one of the pieces. He got one of the pieces. Uh, and easy. No, he's now. I would think he's probably going to hold on to that stadium because he's seen that A spec card before, so he's probably going to hold on to the stadium. Uh, Now, again, this is not great because Vance actually brick and didn't draw. Now, this again, this is opening up for John here. Uh, Whether or not he can get a Gardevoir up here is really important. So he's gonna start digging in, and then I guess the beauty of this deck is that the draw power of this deck, right? He can start digging in again. Uh, Last time was a little bit harder. Just again, given there was no Regidrago V-Star here. Now, John is really unfortunate here, I think, just because the fact that he has now used all three of his Curlier and still not being able to draw into a Gardevoir there. So this is definitely a battle of the minds, I think, because given that probably I think amateur player like us uh, will try to take it. We'll try just try attack. We'll just try to attack to try to take prize cards, right? But this is the battle of the minds here. Now the turn has passed again, which you saw very interestingly. John actually had Iono on hand and he didn't play it, and this is the reason because the fact that Vance didn't do anything last turn. I think John is like, well, I don't want to disrupt your hand because it seems like your hand's crap. So we don't want to disrupt it. The fact that you didn't get a Regidrago out, and the fact that you didn't do much on that last turn, I am actually going to pass for turn because as soon as I do that, as soon as you knock one of my Pokemon out, I'm going to be able to activate um, uh, Counter Catcher, right? So, but at the same time, this is where it gets interesting, right? At the same time, um, Vance said they'll put you're not evolving your Curlier, great. I'm gonna be able to try to snipe them out if I can get my hand correctly. But at the moment, it's not really happening. I would say. So again, excuse me. Um, Vance here is dying for an Ultra Ball. Is just dying for something here. The hand is getting really big here. So the further this match goes, the further it works in John's favor because he has the ability to draw a card. And there it is. He drew the Gardevoir EX here, which now kind of unlocked the energy acceleration on his side in order to start attacking. And this is where John is now thinking what I should attack. Um, because if you look at Van's board, he is going to try to take out a true prizer here, right? Now the thing is that Johnny will probably have to use the Professor Toro card to pick up one of his Pokemon in order to put a Drifloon down in order to attack because at the moment John's bench phase is pretty full at the moment. Wow. Okay, so John say, you know what, you probably can't knock out my Gardevoir, so I'm going to use my Gardevoir uh, to knock your Halucha out. So he'll be accelerating True Energy, and then what happens is that putting four, and then he's gonna move, use Mookie Dookie to move uh, three of those damage counter onto Vance. So this is why again Mookie Doory is such a good dance partner with the Gardevoir EX because exactly what you saw. I accelerate some energy and I can knock you out. Now, so we put 3 damage counter, which I think is now left with 190, and then we have officially taken our first true prize card. Now, this is not great. All right, so where is comes a little bit interesting now. The Curium has arrived onto Vance's hand. So still need a couple more pieces. But I really like. I'm trying to understand where all the Reggie Drago V stars are because I don't feel. I believe only one is prized unless if Vance only plays one, or sorry, play two. That's why he's having difficulty drawing into them. Um, but even I think using Curium here, I don't know if that's going to like. I don't know if that's going to benefit Vance at all. Taking free prize card, maybe it will. Because ultimately, what John, what Vance, try to read it here. Okay, so we got a few pieces here. We have a few pieces here. We've got the Ultra Ball. We can finally get the Regidrago V Star now. Now, where is that prime catcher? Did that get prize? I think Vance will definitely need that prime catcher in order to use the Curium attack. And I guess interestingly enough, what will he try to get rid of as well, given the state of the board, right? So evolved it. And what's the next play? What's the next play here? Uh, right. So I think just trying to clarify whether he has turn on uh, attach energy for turn. I think that's what he's trying to figure out. Oh, oosh. Oh no. Oh no, that is a terrible 7 cards. This card. So Iono is definitely one of the cards that fans have taken out early, but I suppose fans have Night Stretcher, so it's not too bad in terms of trying to get back a trying to get back one of those Regidrago V Star here. So Vance has just literally picked up True Iono to put back in his hand. This is a manual attachment of energy, and we should be seeing a Iono being played here. Now, the only true prizer, the only true prizer that is on the field is that Gardevoir EX. So this is definitely a bit of a seesaw match here. Now, what happens is that John did pick up uh, those true Ultra Ball. They're now at the bottom of the deck. And what attack is John is Vance going to use? So he's going to use the Dragapult attack here, putting 200 on the Gardevoir and then putting 20, 20, and then 10 and 10. Okay, so the spread here, forcing tough choices for Mookie Dory to where to move the who to move the damage counter. I suppose, rather than where to move the damage counter here. So, wow, okay. This is definitely the I would say John is probably in a prime position here to take this one out because the fact that he draw into another God of War there. I don't know what he discarded just now. Doesn't look like a Turo, but I think what John is probably going to do is potentially Turo the God of War. Turo the God of War, and then have a fresh attacker um, from there. Now, throwing down the Autoson is to potentially get the Drifloons out for the big attack as well. And now John is probably checking to see how many energy he's got in the discard pile, because he does need quite a few in order to get the Drifloon to do big attacks. Now the danger is for this particular match, we're down to 3 minutes. We have 3 minutes left for this particular match, and John is pushing out the Mimikyu here. I think he's going for the Drifloon Lay, or is he going to try to snipe one of the Pokemon? Uh, Now, my memory is that the Drifloon is should be in the discard pile. I thought that he threw it away. It might have somehow put it back in the deck. Nope, I can see it. It's the shiny Drifloon there, so he's got it. And we haven't seen. No, we have, right? So he used Professor Turo, unless he has another Bravery Charm. Probably not going to be able to knock the Regidrago out. And what Vance is ultimately is doing now, I would say he's trying to get to the clock as quickly as possible. We're about 1 minute left, and we're probably going to have 0, 1, 2, 3 turns. And if no result is in those turns, because Vance took the first game, he will wins this particular set. So John is really just, uh, I would guess that he needs to win this in order to give himself a tie chance. But tying here, I'm not sure it does him any good. Whereas he needs the full 3 points to kind of to advance to day two. So he's got off for the confusion play here, mind bend here, causing 60 damage to Vance, and then confusing his Regidrago V-Star, hopefully preventing him to attack next turn. So an interesting play here. Uh, all right. Okay, so now this is confused. So we're 1 minute, less than 1 minute left. We have less than 1 minute left. What is this going to, what is Vance going to do here? All right, so draw into an energy switch, having a look at the discard pile. At the moment, what Vance is probably going to do is to have a look at how many energy um, John has got in his discard pile, because just to see how, what's the possibility, how quickly he can set up that drift balloon to attack. How many cards Vance has left as well. So he's only probably about 10 more cards left in his deck to draw. If you have no cards to draw, which is a term that we use, you deck out and you lose the game. So switching here into the Mew, of course, the Mew has a free retreat. Once you switch into your bench, the confusion is gone, basically, so to speak. And then what what Vance basically wants to do is try to draw into the Iono, because again he wants to continue to cause a bit of card disruption onto John's side. Although I would say at this stage a little bit Iono proof, just given the fact that Curlier can draw cards. Now again, Vance knows what's to go here. Can John take 4 prize card in turn? So I think Vance is 0. This is 1. John gets 1 more turn, so he needs to take out another double prizer here. Basically, he needs to take out a double prizer. He needs to draw. Needs to go into get. He needs to get a boss, uh, which I don't know if he has, and he needs to knock out a double prizer here, and then which yeah he needs to get a knockout on this turn, a double prizer knockout on this turn, and then Vance pretty much just pass, I guess, and then but the attacker, I think the attacker is actually funny enough prize because he needed that not the flutter main the scream tail to attack the bench. So right now John needs a the boss's order. So the scream tail, as you can see, is prize. The scream tails allows you to attack the bench. Uh, the damages it has there. So what's the play here for John? What's the play here for John? So we all know that he needs to take a double prizer. Very, very nice goal. Uh, Ultra ball there. So he's gonna let's see what he's going to take out here. So what does he have? So he the Fluttermate? Okay. So he takes out the Fluttermane here. So earlier on I said, one of the ways to win the game is to take all 6 prizes. But you can see this game here being really dragged out here with John only really taking 2 prizes, and uh, this is where it gets really interesting up until this point. At the moment, I believe it's turn 1. Okay, putting the Flutter main out, retreating into the Flutter main. Uh, and then the Flutter main will do 90 damages on the Halucha. And then okay. So slowly sort of targeting down that Regidrago here. Now, okay, now this is where it gets interesting. This is now they're talking about who's turn 1, who's turn 2. So I think it's turn 2 for Vance, right? So Vance here doesn't need to attack. He just needs to think about um I guess he just needs to think about how to not lose 3 prizes in the next turn. Uh, Is it going to be possible? Uh, how is it going to be? Because at the moment, even Mukidori moving damages into that Regidrago V Star, I don't think it has about 130 HP left. I don't think it will knock it out. So, um, yeah, I don't see how John is going to win. I would say probably a turn short or turn or two too short for John to sort of take this match. Uh, so draw another 3 cards here. I think just basically wanting to draw everything on his hand, and I think he just want to draw into the Iono basically, drawing into the Iono, disrupt John's hand, making sure there's no way that he can win. I mean, again, I'm just checking the current board state here. I, I don't I don't feel he can win. So there you have it. I think it was close, but I think Vance took the set here because knowing John cannot take a free prize in the next turn. So congratulations to Vance Galley, who was the Pokemon world champion from last year in Yokohama, uh, making through to day two. So it was an interesting matchup, I would say, to say the least. And again, um, it's always going to be hard for Gardevoir's players. Although Todd is playing, no, sorry, I thought Todd would be playing Gardevoir, but he's playing actually Charizard here. So we are going to take a bit of a quick break. Um, because we've literally been talking and speaking for the last the whole match actually. So it was really fun actually. So we're gonna do one more now. What this actually means is that it means fans have made day two nervously, and then for John has to win his next game in order to qualify for day two. So that's the stakes here. Then that was basically how important this match was, and that's why they put it on stream. Given Vance's accolades from last year, and the importance of him trying to make it through. All right, with that said, we're gonna go and take a quick break. We basically just want to get some water in. I was really getting pretty comfortable on watching this game and absolutely just enjoying this stream party at the moment with only a few of us. But you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll be back. Let me just get some water. All right, we're back. We are back. Now, the fact that this game actually went for 50 minutes means that the next round should be starting pretty soon. I would say we're probably about 10 minutes away from the next round. So they are on stage now. I think this guy's name is Chip, if I'm not mistaken. So interviewing fans here for the win-in, so to speak. So in order to, he needed to win to get into the next day. So that's why it's called a win-in. Um, yeah. So he just talking about his game one. There a little bit of mishap. Thinking that he had a game there. So you can read. Let me just get rid of the subtitles there, so you can probably read the text there. After Vance is back, chase down another title here in Honolulu while the signature has been rotated. His mastery got him through the win and in. So congratulations once again. This was a bit of a ad hoc stream to tell on stream. I mean, I was gonna watch this anyway, so I thought we'd do a bit of a stream party. We might end up doing the same tomorrow. Tomorrow will be even more nail biting. I believe tomorrow. They are going to play round 10, 11, 12. Do they play three more rounds or do they play four more rounds? I think they played uh three, maybe even five rounds, to be honest. I can't even remember. I personally haven't made day two in my entire life, so I wouldn't know. Um, but I think they play three or four more rounds tomorrow, and then you'll be top 16 or top eight, and then semifinals. So yeah, maybe top 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the finals will be played on Sunday. All eyes on stage, and then Um, this is a long day as well, because we are only seeing one, I would say, one of the 10 events that are available, one of the 10, 11 events, because so Pokemon Go, Pokemon VGC, video game, and then trading card game, they have three divisions, the junior, senior, and master division, as you can see events here. So that's 9 events. And then you got Pokemon Unite. Now, Pokemon Unite, the finals, probably not going to be playing main stage. It'll probably play tomorrow. So I guess yeah, 9 events. So and I don't remember any other Pokemon games that have a World Championship. So on Sunday you'll see 9 events, three of each, and that's why you'll be again a long day on Sunday. Now, while this is all happening, there is like um there is um side events happening as well where you can earn points and then you can pretty much exchange interest, get prizes, exchange for prizes. So they would have events for side events for Pokemon Go, side events for PGC, side events for trading card games, and it's pretty good to actually go with a bunch of mates if you're playing side events because you can just pretty much eat up all the points as or try to get all the points as quickly as possible to get the prizes. And these prizes are sometimes really good. Some of them are World Champ exclusive prizes. Um, So that's why you wanted to get on it pretty quickly. So once again, congratulations to Vance making it through to day two with the Reggie Drago list there. Now you can switch out. You can switch out your list on day two, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be interesting to know whether some of these guys will continue to play Reggie Drago on day two. But right now, we are watching and waiting for round nine, and I would assume they are going to put another win-in uh, game in round nine. So again, meaning that either player would need to win in order to get into day two, which is quite cruel, I would say, to put on a live stream match. You know, but that's the beauty of competition, right? There's winners and there are losers. So again, I think it wouldn't be too far away from round nine. This is the stage where actually round nine had probably started. They are just actually picking a game to stream on round 9. So so waiting patiently. Now this guy who's wearing that really colorful Snorlax Pikachu shirt. I think this guy's name is Was. He's also a YouTuber where he actually does Pokemon content as well as One Piece content as well. So now this kind of tells me that we're still pretty far away. Seeing all the other casters on screen here at the moment, I thought we will only be kind of 10 minutes away, but if they're going on this screen, that means that they're most likely going to be talking quite a lot, and we probably won't be back uh, and for a little while. So here are the casters here. Um, I'm actually quite surprised that Pablo is casting instead of playing. I guess it's probably, given that you have been involved in the competitive world for quite a long time, and um, the fact that you can still go to Worlds in a much more relaxed manner, and like um, ma- mainly for a different experience, and that's why I think Pablo probably opted to cast instead of competing this time around. Um, you do want to experience everything if you're that involved into Pokemon. And again, if true to be told, if there's an experience for me to be a caster, I would love to do it as well because just trying to experience and soak it up into everything. Now, showing off all the day two players. So these are all the players who made it into day two. Jesse Parker, which we kind of saw on screen. Isaiah Bradner came second in the NAIC to Todd. Kevin Corner, which kind of lost to Jesse Parker, but he made it in. Kyowan is an Australian player. I think he won. He won something recently. He won something recently, if I'm not mistaken. Lucas and Grant also. Now I'm saying calling them by their first name, and you might think that I know them personally. I don't know any of these guys personally. Sorry, I'm not trying to, I guess, name job or anything, if that makes sense. I don't know. I've seen these guys obviously at the IC and the regionals. I don't know these guys, and on screen, of course, and I don't know these guys personally. So I'm just talking based on things that know, I've seen. So there is hopefully not spreading any false information on stream while we're here. So I don't really know a lot of these players personally, and maybe one day we get the chance when we make it to the top. Now, in terms of while we have a bit of time, I guess, um, in terms of my goal for next year, um, so it's interesting how Pokemon Trading Card is set up in Hong Kong, because in the previous few seasons, Hong Kong has two official languages, which is the traditional Chinese and English, and each languages will send players to World Championship in the past. So, and every year, I choose, or last to pre 2 seasons ago, I choose to compete in the English um, division, which I came seventh. Unfortunately, not making world championship. And I think the year that I was trying to qualify was for Yokohama. Coming seventh will definitely won't gonna make me into um, world champ. So last season, I actually competed as an Australian player where I really travel. Like I travel to Brisbane, travel to Melbourne, travel to Perth, travel to England. So I played three regional, one IC. Again, put it however you like. I just simply wasn't good enough. Didn't get enough points to qualify for this year's, which is if I qualified, I would have been in Hawaii, obviously, but didn't qualify. So again, coming to my first season, um, you kind of have to decide what you want to compete in, basically, um, pretty soon because as soon as this all finishes, I think the first regional is actually happening within like 1 or 2 months after the world champ. So when all this finishes, you kind of have to decide what do you want to do, and yeah, pretty much what you want to do, right? So basically, I'm contemplating whether I should try playing as a traditional Chinese player for this season. Um, few trains of thoughts as to why. The number one thing is, I'm don't want to give up my dream to qualify for the World Championship. It's definitely still on my agenda, but as I am growing up, as I'm turning a little bit older, other priority will take place. Um, it is nice to qualify, but probably I spend 10,000, if not more, trying to qualify for Worlds this year and fail miserably. So I don't think I have that sort of funds available to me for this particular season. So I'm going to try to opt to play locally, which means that, you know, going to local competition, just playing the Chinese version, traditional Chinese version, and try to, go through all these regionals, whatever it is locally here. Um, so that's the train of thoughts. uh, in order to qualify for the traditional Chinese, it is hard just because here in Hong Kong we have about 2,000, 3,000 players here, and our regional in Hong Kong or the town league or whatever you want to call does not accommodate 2,000 players. So a lot of the time is they say, okay, we're gonna put the registration form at 7 o'clock at a certain date and certain date and certain time. Best in, best dress. Now there is, you can play the local tournaments, and if you win those local tournaments, you qualify. But you know, it is hard and not easy, and so we might end up just playing the traditional Chinese league, or if there is an English league, we might play that instead. Um, I don't know. I really don't know what I'm going to do next season, but I will compete. That's the thing. I will compete. I love competing. Um, is what's fun about this. So I love competing. So I will be continuing to compete. At what format, I'm not 100% sure yet, but we are now kind of seeing the casters going away here, which potentially means that round nine might be potentially under the way. Just to put a final note, to stop a final note. Yeah, just to put a stop on the final note. Um, we will be competing. We will be back, and wherever the next World Championship will be, hopefully we'll make it there. All right. So with the casters going away, they're just doing a bit of a recap for the day as we are going into head to round nine. Opening ceremony was quite awesome in Yokohama. I didn't quite catch the Hawaii one, but it looks pretty awesome just from that. So uh, I am assuming this is not the end of the stream. I mean, I didn't see anything on because I don't think it's 8 rounds only when you have 1,000 competitors. So I might be wrong. Is this the end of the stream? Oh wow, it might be. Okay. Wow. Okay. That was the end of the stream. Okay, that was interesting. Um, I thought there might be 9 rounds, but it appears there's only 8 rounds. So it is the end of the stream. Yeah, I didn't know that would be only 8 rounds for the first day. So All right, well there you have it. We sort of yap on a little bit there, but there you have it. Interesting enough. There was only 8 rounds. I thought there might be 9. Anyway, we'll catch you guys soon. Hopefully we'll do one of these tomorrow if we have time. Looking forward to it, and we'll see how it goes. See